Welcome to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm your host, Joy Taylor. On today's show, are the new-look Thunder the biggest danger to the Warriors in the West? Plus, Skip explains why he thinks the Lakers will sneak into a playoff spot. And is LeBron James the greatest living athlete? We've got a busy show today. Skip, Shannon, let's get to it. All eyes will be on Lonzo Ball tonight in his much-anticipated debut for the Lakers against the Clippers. He missed most of the preseason with a sprained ankle, but he said he's definitely playing tonight. We're joined by FS1 NBA analyst Chris Broussard. Welcome, Chris.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Good morning.
Big night here in L.A. What do you expect from Lonzo and the Lakers?
I'm going to be in the house. I'm looking forward to seeing Lonzo and LeVar.
It will be an event.
It will be. Now, hear me out. You're not going to like what I say, but hear me out. Lonzo, between 11 points, 14 points a game, 7 to 9 rebounds. So I'm going to say 11 points, 8 assists a game, which is not a bad rookie year.
Right. And did you say some rebounds?
11 points, 8 assists, 4 or 5 rebounds. Lakers between 32 and 34 wins and do not have a snowball's chance of making the playoffs. And here, there are 10 teams in the West that are better than them. We know the top 4.
I was in Alaska.
You know where the snowballs is. It's already melted.
It's in Los Angeles.
The top 4 we know in the West: Minnesota, Portland, Denver, Utah, Memphis, and the Clippers are all better. And I ain't even mentioned New Orleans. Those 10 are all better than the Lakers. If I'm the Lakers and I'm a Lakers fan, this is what I want. I want a change of culture based around Lonzo. I want his unselfishness to permeate the franchise to the point where everybody, all the players are making the extra pass. They're running the floor in anticipation of getting the ball from him. They enjoy playing with him. Everybody's having fun. And we get around the 32 or so wins. Yeah. If I see that, I see him making Brandon Ingram, Kyle Kuzma, Larry Nance Jr., and the rest of these guys better. That's all I want. That's success to me. I think to think they're going to make the playoffs, it's just too much in the West. Now, if they were in the East, maybe. And let me finally say this. I know Lonzo, and I'm a big fan, but he's been compared to Magic by none other than Magic himself. Yeah. I think Lonzo is more like Jason Kidd. Now, the guy I think is more like Magic, I haven't seen the leadership of Magic. And maybe he may not have the intangibles of Lonzo, but Ben Simmons' game, to me, is much more like Magic's than Lonzo's is. Because Ben Simmons can score. He can't shoot, but he's a scorer, and Magic was like that. So that's my take.
Go ahead. I'll let you. I see you.
I know you got him fighting for home court advantage.
Go ahead. I'm gonna let you go ahead.
I'm glad you brought up Ben Simmons. I'm not sold on the intangibles. I'm not
That's
sure.
the question.
I'm just not sure. And so far, he can't shoot. He might be able to score because I think he looks like he's 6'11".
They say 6'10", but yeah.
Well, I'm serious. I was looking at him last night. I'm saying, are you close to 7 feet?
Don't you see Magic? Because Magic couldn't really shoot. He got that little set shot at the end.
But let me ask you a question.
There's no charisma to it.
No, that's the question.
Let me ask you this.
The intangible.
Is he left or right-handed? Because I can't tell.
He's ambidextrous. He is.
Well, he be shooting with both of them.
I know, and he does.
And he ain't the worst. And Markelle Fultz has got a lot more work
I
to do.
dug in last year while Lonzo was still just in college.
Okay.
And I said he's incredibly rare and special. He's once a generation. You can't teach it. You can't coach it. And that's in leadership and impact. He doesn't have Magic's emotional charisma, but he is a leader. And the other kids, or even vets, they're going to follow him. And Magic was here sitting in your chair 2 days ago. Yeah. And he made the point. I'm watching him in the locker room off camera, and he's way more outgoing than you think. Just as LeVar kept saying, hey, you don't get it. You don't get it. And I think the team gets it. And the team doesn't just like him. They love to play with him because he is so much fun, and he makes more exciting passes than Jason Kidd made. It's spectacular passes. He doesn't light up the way Magic did because Magic put the exclamation point on the pass because he was so excited about it that it made everybody excited
about it. And the no looks he had.
It was theatric. You know, it was always, it was just sensational. And this kid can be the same way. So because of that, because Magic is overseeing and teaching, I look at this roster, I like it. I like it more than you do. And I don't like some of the teams in the West as much as you do. But when I look at a KCP who's going to bring some veteran presence, especially in perimeter defense, and listen, Jordan Clarkson will come in and make shots, and he's fearless. He will take and make shots, as will young Kyle Kuzma. Fearless. That's the first word Magic said. He is fearless, and he's got his man body, so he's going to feel like a young man when he walks onto the court. And then I think Magic's going to do more wonders with Brandon Ingram, who needed to come out of his shell more. And I think Magic's going to force him out of his shell that he's in. He's a little timid, a little tentative inside. And I think you're going to see a new Brandon Ingram. Julius Randle can be a force down low. And obviously Brook Lopez from the New Jersey days, but he's a good player. And that was the first thing Magic said to us. He needs to live up to his size and his experience. Yeah. If he can give you that 20 and 10 and rim protect, and I don't know if Andrew Bogut can stay healthy for 1 game or 2 games or whatever, but you want to talk about veteran presence that he can bring off the bench for 13 or 14 minutes. So I like this team enough, and I dug in 3 months ago, and I'm going to go down swinging with this. I look at the West, and I think these teams are being overrated a little bit because we talked about Phoenix. They got annihilated last night. They're not going to make the playoffs. Sacramento is fun to watch with De'Aaron Fox. They're not going to make it. Utah's on the way down, out. New Orleans has all kinds of chemistry issues between the two, unless Rondo can come back and sort of save the day. I'm not seeing them. Dallas is rebuild. They're fun to watch, and then I watched the T-Wolves from start to finish. You have been raving about the T-Wolves. I think you have too. I think you liked them as a factor, like a middle-of-the-pack playoff team, right?
Yes, fifth, sixth seed.
I don't see it. I'm sorry.
So you have them out of the playoffs?
I have them out of the playoffs because I think Thibodeau is not the right fit with their kids. There's a clash going on. They don't buy his defensive mindset and tenacity. They don't play that way.
Defense don't build a
Last night
brand.
was a bad sign. And we know how great the Spurs are even without Kawhi. But that's a bad sign.
They got shredded.
That's
Seriously.
not a good sign.
And Andrew Wiggins was out of his mind making shots that just kept them hanging in.
Defense, in the NBA, defense doesn't build a brand.
Yeah.
You need to be a scorer. But we keep talking about,
last point, the Clippers to me are just shaky. They had their run last year. I was bullish on the Clippers a year ago. They fired and they fell back. And they're trying to redo it on the fly. And I can see them as a candidate to barely miss the playoffs. And if I'm right about those, there's an 8th spot.
Memphis?
I got them in. I got Memphis, Denver, and Portland in, and the 8th spot would belong to the Lakers. And again, is it heart over head? Maybe a little bit, but it feels to me like heart and head. I like this roster, and I believe in Magic, and I already believe in Lonzo enough. I think this is going to be a new factor on the NBA horizon.
I agree with you, Chris, though. I don't see Magic Johnson. I see more Jason Kidd. But we're talking about like Jason Kidd was a bum. Jason Kidd is a Hall of Famer.
Exactly.
The dude got over 100 triple-doubles. He was co-rookie of the year with Grant Hill. He was a hell of a ball player.
If he's Jason Kidd, that's great. That's great.
You will not complain because Jason Kidd was an old-school point guard. It was all about distributing with him. These new guys, they're not really point guards. They're two guards. They're masquerading. Yep. But Skip, I don't see how it's going to take 45 to 50 wins to get to that 8th seed. I don't see how they get there, but I believe they'll be better. And as Magic sat there on Tuesday and said, we got room for 2.
I know another issue.
Hey, I know one.
Specific to
2. He made sure Skip and I
people
know.
knew,
He didn't say which 2, but he got one of them. One of them got a house out here down the street from me.
You might be able to move in. Huh?
I'm down in the hills. I'm moving up to Beverly Hills.
Yeah, but he's down
got
in the flats down in Brentwood.
She up there in Beverly Hills.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she got a crib there in Beverly Hills, big old pool.
So that's where you.
I be laying on my back just like.
Really?
Yeah. Joy, you welcome to come anytime you like.
Yeah. I can come to the
Don't
cookout.
be sleeping on George couch. Let me stop.
Just for those who
I don't have a very big couch, so.
Nicole Murphy here. Yes.
What the Skip?
I just
You better behave.
Why you keep bringing that lady's name up?
New viewers who don't understand
They don't
what
know
you're
the
talking
crush.
about.
I Skip tell everything.
I tell everything. You tell
I
everything.
tell him stuff in confidentiality.
Oh, really?
You talk
Confidentially on national TV, he tells
I have a tiny couch, but I have a pull-out bed, so it's not very comfortable.
Oh, the trundle bed?
Yeah, it's like pulls out.
Oh, I ain't gonna be able to do that.
Not good on the back.
Hey, Skip.
Hey,
That was between you and
Beverly
I.
Hills?
Yeah, she lived in Beverly Hills.
Is she up in the hills or down in the
So
flats?
she in the flat.
Okay, all right.
I don't know.
Chris, thanks for joining us.
No mercy.
GQ named LeBron James the greatest living athlete. They focused on not only what LeBron has done so far on the court, but what he has done off the court. LeBron was ahead of Michael Jordan and Serena Williams, to name a few. Shannon, do you agree?
Hold on, let me see what they said.
Keep it real.
They said greatest. G.O.A.T. Greatest.
They said that?
That's what they said.
I misread it, I guess.
Yes,
Yes.
I agree. Here's a guy born to a teenage mom. Father was not involved. His mom tried to teach him everything she knew, but some things only a man can teach another man. She sent him away from her home at the age of 18 to go be a man, to go be the face of a franchise with no formal training. He didn't go to college. He didn't have a Dean Smith. He didn't have a Coach Wooden, or John Wooden. He didn't have one of these great coaches. He didn't have a father figure. And not only did he meet expectations, because he's on the cover of Sports Illustrated at what, 17, Skip? 17, 18?
Yeah.
He ushered in showing of high school basketball games.
He did.
This was him.
I agree.
21 years of age, he's an MVP of the All-Star game. 4-time MVP. He's gone to 7 straight finals. He's won 3 of those 8 finals in total. At this juncture, he has more points than anybody. So the time he turned 25, the time he turned 30, he's got more points than anybody previous at that age. You like Michael? Close. I mean, hey, you splitting hairs. I mean, one got 4 MVPs, the other got 5. One, 30,000 points. LeBron at 28,000. One guy has 6 finals wins and 6 MVPs. The other has 3 and 3. So okay, we're right here. But then, okay, stop dribbling the basketball. Put the gym shoes in the locker. We come off the court. LeBron's here. Jordan's here. You factor that in, not even close.
So, I know the man who did this interview with LeBron James for GQ magazine. His name is Mark Anthony Green. He's a really good guy, and I've spent a lot of time around him having exactly this discussion / argument with him. So I know all of this. If we're talking mostly off the court, it's not even close. LeBron James is rare. I just talked about Lonzo Ball's once a generation. LeBron's once a couple of generations.
Yes.
As a role model, and I hate to even go athlete role model because they usually don't fit in the same sentence, but I'll go there with LeBron. I don't like his language lately. He started to go a little blue in his language, but whatever. But as a humanitarian, as a social impactor along racial lines, it's just, I give him A+ in all those categories. If that's what we're doing, it's way beyond Jordan or whoever else you want to throw in there. But if we factor in, now I don't know what % we're going to factor in the on the court, I just don't get that. Because Mark Anthony asked LeBron, how would you define this greatness? And he said, most consistently at the top of the food chain. Okay, we're doing that statistics-wise, because you can throw stats at me and I can't argue.
Yeah.
The triple-double in the finals or just through the year. These stats.
Decade.
Yeah.
I mean, well, at least a decade
You
straight.
can do it because this man can stuff that stat sheet like nobody can because he's 6'9" and he's the best passer in basketball until Lonzo's about to step on the court.
he's
And then
still
we'll
gonna be
see. We'll see. But GQ ranked the other 50, but they wouldn't even put them in order. It was like they're just the rest.
Yeah.
Like it's not even close.
Yeah.
And they went so far, and LeBron went along with this, and I cringed, but they put LeBron on the cover with a laurel wreath, but it wasn't of leaves, it was of gold.
Yeah.
So he's got the Greek god headwear, right?
Built like one.
He is, I give you that. So we're putting LeBron James on the cover of GQ. Did Did he just win the finals? No, he lost the finals.
Mythical.
I wonder how Kevin Durant, who was the MVP of the finals, feels about that. I don't know.
Well, they knew they was going to lose opening day. So we can't put a guy that's going to lose opening day when the magazine comes out.
Okay, so here's my problem that everybody wants to sweep right under the rug, that LeBron James has had way too many epic fails on the court to be considered consistently at the top of the food chain. And I'm just going to hit the lowlights because he's 3-5 in the NBA Finals. Michael obviously was 6-0 with 6 MVPs.
He only got to 6?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
that's all.
That's
It
it?
took him a while to break through.
Okay.
A loaded Eastern Conference.
But I'm just saying, I mean, he played 16 years and he only got to 6 finals?
Okay, I'll give you that, but let's look at the epic fails. 2011 first finals in Miami. It was the all-time worst superstar meltdown. I think even you would have to agree. It was just an embarrassment. He just shrank on the biggest stage in his sport, right?
Okay.
Against the Dallas Mavericks. And then I'm going to bring it up again. You can say, well, he had good numbers in the game. But down the stretch of Game 6, which was going to be the Spurs' closeout game in 2013, LeBron James had 3 unforced error turnovers in the last 3 minutes, and then he missed the shot to save the season and force overtime, and Ray Allen canceled it out by making the greatest clutch shot ever and saved LeBron's legacy. Without the Ray Allen shot, we're looking at 2-6 in the NBA
But
Finals.
Skip,
Wow.
Skip, to be fair, they were down 10
Okay.
going into the fourth
But then
quarter.
they got back.
Okay, why did they get back? How many
Okay.
points did LeBron
Okay,
have?
But this is crunch time now. This is where the money is on the table, and that's what happened. That's exactly what happened.
But what about the 3 that he hit before to pull him within 3?
Well, but he missed the one to tie
Come
the
on,
game. But was it not the greatest clutch shot you've ever seen? I've never seen a better clutch shot under the circumstances.
Go ahead.
It saved the day.
Okay.
The game is over, and the series is over, and the Spurs are going to win in 6 on LeBron's
But
court.
he did have a triple-double, am I correct, in that game?
I guess so.
Okay.
He always has great stats.
Okay.
But then just a couple of quick ones. But that first Golden State Finals, remember, he had Golden State down. I know he'd lost Kyrie and lost Kevin Love, but he had him down 2-1 with Game 4 in his house. Go look at the numbers. He shrank again. He came up small. And then last year, Game 3 is in his house. I'm going to bring it up one last time. Ball in his hands, minute 30 left, with a 4-point lead, and you can't close that deal? Kevin Durant closed that deal. I can go on, but the point is, it's just not good enough. By best player on the planet standards, he's a sorry free throw shooter and a sorry three-point shooter. I'm sorry. So you're telling me he's the best athlete on the planet? Which brings me to definition of athlete. What are we talking about athletically? Because I'm going to throw another name in the mix. I mean, obviously, to me, Michael Jordan is that guy. But let me just get this straight. Why isn't Tom Brady in this discussion?
Okay.
Is he disqualified? Is he unathletic? Is it because he's an unathletic white guy? You're saying yes, right? Yep. Because he ran the ugliest 40 in the history of the combine?
Because he only plays one side of the football.
Oh.
He has no impact. See, Michael Jordan and LeBron James impact both. Serena Williams, not only does she serve, she has to return serve. So you factor that in also.
Is Tom Brady's position not the hardest to play in all of sports? It's a harder position to play than Michael Jordan's position was or LeBron's is. It's just harder. It is so hard. You have to process so much.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah. Do you think Tom Brady is unathletic? Because he's got the sweetest feet in the pocket I think I've ever seen, including Joe Montana.
He got cinder blocks for feet. Stop.
Really?
Yes.
Boy, then you don't watch the same games.
I
I see him create space where people are all over him, and it's a little step here, step there, step up. I've never seen anything like it. He is dominating his sport at age 40, and he's only won 5 Super Bowls that easily could have been 6 and could have been 7.
What about the ones he could have lost?
The 2 losses were one throw games.
Hold on.
One throw that Eli made and one throw that should have been caught by Wes Welker that Tom didn't make.
So let me ask you a question. Could they have not lost the game to St. Louis, the first Super Bowl?
Yeah, he drove them into position
But
to
see,
win.
Skip, you talking about he drove and they won. But then you try to give him credit for the games they lost. It's just like they won those games. They could have easily lost those games.
Yeah, but they won them.
Okay, LeBron, but see, hold on. This is what I don't understand.
LeBron lost.
No.
He lost 5 times in the finals.
In game 6,
Yeah.
They beat the Spurs, but
They
you
did.
highlight that he missed the shot.
Yeah.
They won, so it's
I know,
moot.
but it was preposterous how they won the game.
It's preposterous how they beat Seattle. It's preposterous how they beat Atlanta.
No, it wasn't. He just drove them for by that guy's standards, a pretty routine field goal, right? Both times, routine field goal.
Ray Allen's shot did not win the game. They still had to play overtime. And what happened in
But
overtime?
did it not save the game?
Did it win the game?
The Spurs were shell-shocked and
Hold on.
devastated.
How does a Greg Popovich team with Tim Duncan, Kawhi Leonard, Tony Parker, and Manu Ginobili?
They couldn't get up
How
the man.
not?
Yeah. All right, but we're not talking about them. I'm not putting them in the conversation. But I am putting Tom Brady in because all he's done has been even more clutch than Michael Jeffrey Jordan, because he's done it more times on the biggest stage in this sport, because it was clutch to keep completing third down passes to set up Vinatieri against St. Louis and against Carolina. And then you want to talk about all-time clutch? Go check the fourth quarter against Seattle and then the fourth quarter in overtime against Atlanta. Tell me that wasn't all-time clutch.
Let me ask you a question.
Wow.
Did you hear about Tom Brady coming out of high school? Did you hear about Tom Brady coming out of Michigan? This is what you heard about LeBron James.
Hey, but that doesn't factor into now.
Yes, Skip, with expectations.
Well, after Tom Brady won a Super Bowl in his first year as a starter, I'd say they went through the roof.
He didn't have.
Did LeBron win a championship in his first year as a starter? No, it took him how many years? Would it take, what,
Skip.
6 years? I don't know.
Okay. Did Tom Brady beat out Brian Griese for the starting job at Michigan? Did that happen? No, he did not.
Whose fault was that?
That was Tom Brady's fault because he wasn't better than Brian Griese in college.
Did you see him against Alabama in the Orange Bowl that year?
I saw Brian Griese.
I did. I said,
I saw Brian Griese in the Rose Bowl. Why was he playing Alabama in the Orange Bowl and not the Rose Bowl? Because the Big Ten champ normally goes to the Rose Bowl, Joe. Hold on. I just want to make sure I'm correct. Does the Big Ten champ normally go to the Rose Bowl?
Way off point here.
No, but I'm just saying, the expectations of LeBron James. How old was Tom Brady when he won that Super Bowl?
He would have been 24 maybe?
So where was LeBron, at 18, where was Tom Brady?
Well, how old was LeBron when he finally broke through? I don't even know.
No.
Didn't it take like 8 years? I don't know. I'm lost. Help me.
Look at the structure.
You're the Shannon.
Look at the structure that Tom Brady had. He had a household with two parents. He went to college.
Okay.
Had a college coach.
I give you that.
LeBron was born to a teenage mom, no father figure. She sent him away at the age of 18.
Off the court.
With the expectations. Michael Jordan didn't have these expectations. Nobody thought Michael could do, because even when you saw him at North Carolina, you didn't see that. You know,
Well, you know what the cliche was?
The only guy that could hold him in the
stop is Dean Smith.
Right.
The only player to stop Michael Jordan.
Yeah, we saw him hit the shot as a freshman. True freshman.
Yeah.
We saw the high flying, the dunks, and the hanging of the. But Skip, nobody saw what he became.
Hey, his first year in the league, trust me, because
he was
covering. He was so spectacular that every rival city awaited his arrival.
But Skip, even though they awaited, Skip, they didn't see this. They didn't see what he became. Nobody saw it.
Well, he would have been the first pick in the draft.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And look at LeBron at 18 on the cover of Sports Illustrated.
Okay, so
with the expectations.
does that mean we should give him passes and breaks for all these epic fails?
Skip.
I guess that's what
Skip,
it means.
you tell me
he's a Greek god because he had it harder than everybody else.
No. But you tell me the athlete that has not gone through failure in order to enjoy success.
Well, Tom Brady went through a lot of failure in college, right?
Okay.
Because his coach wouldn't start him.
What you mean wouldn't?
Drew Henson was starting.
I didn't talk about Drew Henson. So what about Brian Griese?
What about him?
He should have beat him out. He could have beat him out. He didn't have to worry about Drew Henson.
Well, obviously, as you look back, the coach was pretty foolish not to play Tom Brady the whole way.
Well, Skip,
right?
You know, at some point in time, I was an offensive lineman. What if the coach is like, hold up, how dumb was I? I had Shannon Sharpe playing offensive line.
That is not.
I mean, think about it, Skip.
Wait, is Shannon Sharpe a top 50 current living athlete? That's a question.
Hey, you know what? You know what? I can't. I'm trying to get on the cover. I'm trying to get in GQ.
Well, you know what? That's really what it comes down to. This list is interesting.
Stop hating, Joey.
No, listen, we all know how incredible LeBron James is. You can't take anything away from what he has done at all. But this criteria is impossible. And you can't make the argument that they factored in off the field stuff. Tigers on this list, Jim Brown, Michael Phelps. They've had things in their past also. So are you taking off?
Well, that's why they ain't number one. That's why they're not number one, because we had to take away from some of the things that happened off the field.
I mean, because look, you know how I feel about Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather isn't on this list. He's undefeated. No. So what is this list really? It's a collection of the greatest living athletes, and they wanted LeBron to be on the cover.
Hey, hold up. Did you see let me ask you a question. Did you see year 15? Did you see his stat line from year 15? In year 15, he put up a stat line that had not been seen.
LeBron is incredible, but they explained it themselves. This is an ongoing debate that really has what is the criteria.
So
it's
in
almost
2017,
impossible. You could very easily make the argument that Serena Williams is hands down the greatest athlete alive.
We'll have this conversation again in 2020, and guess what? LeBron will still be.
LeBron will be on the cover.
LeBron will be there because he'll be year 19.
I did like that big hat though. It was very good.
Why you be hating on LeBron?
No mercy. The new look Oklahoma City Thunder host the Knicks tonight. Carmelo Anthony and Paul George are both making their Thunder debuts. They join forces with Russell Westbrook, who led the league in scoring and shot attempts last season. Shannon, how will OKC do in the West this season?
Skip, I have my concerns. I think the Warriors will be at the top of the food chain in the West. I believe the Spurs will be number 2, and I think it's going to be between the third spot between OKC and the Rockets. My concerns is, how does Russell reacclimate not being option A, B, C? Forget A, B, C, E, all of the above. Because he had 1 year to do whatever he wanted to do. How many shots you want, Russell? You want to get 45 shots? Take it. Russell, you want to just hold on to the ball, shoot it? Do it. Now you get 3 other guys. One guy is very, very similar to what Russell's skill set is, which is an ISO ball-dominant player. Paul George can play off of the ball, but sometimes he's going to want the ball in his hands. Now remember, Kevin Durant left OKC for this very reason, because he felt Russell was hogging the ball too much, and he wanted to go somewhere where the ball moved continuously. That's what my concerns are. It looks great on paper. You got Russell in his prime, coming off a historic season, MVP. Paul George, career high in points. We know Carmelo had a lot going on, Phil Jackson and the Knicks, and had all this turmoil going on. So he had somewhat of a down year. But we know Carmelo is an offensive juggernaut. Now, he can score the basketball. Now, by bringing in these players, they lose a lot on the bench. So it's going to be like those 3 and a lot of others. I'm going to say they'll finish. After watching Houston play, I think James Harden and Chris Paul, Skip, I think they're going to be better than what we thought. I think they can get along. I think they can coincide. To get 11, double-digit assists in the first game. I know it's the first game. I'm going to say they'll finish. You know what? I'm going to stick to my guns. I'm going to say they'll finish 3rd. I think they have enough talent. They'll figure it out at some point in time. They're not going to be better than the Spurs or the Warriors. So I'll say they'll be 3rd, and the Thunder will be 3rd, and the Rockets will be 4th.
I'm pretty much with everything you just said. But in the big picture, in all my years of covering the National Basketball Association, this is the most fascinating chemistry experiment I've ever seen.
Yes.
Ever. So I'm riveted, must-see TV, night after night, to see how it doesn't work. Because I lean toward it won't, but I am rooting for it too. I know Melo. I like Melo. He was in just a terrible situation.
An unwinnable situation the last couple of years.
And I think he's got a lot left in that tank of his. And he looks good a couple times that I saw the preseason.
With or without the hoodie?
Maybe.
I think
he was just trying to lose a little weight.
Okay.
He's trying to sweat it off.
Okay.
That's okay. He needed to drop a couple, and he does look pretty good to me. I'm rooting for Paul George. I'm not the biggest fan because in the East he was a poor man's LeBron James. And he was because he was stuck as the man on a team that didn't have a second fiddle.
Now he's Paul George. Now, you called me the real name now.
Because he's in the perfect spot for Paul George because he's now a complimentary star. He's a second or maybe even a third fiddle, and it's a good fit for him. He's a good basketball player. He's more like LeBron. He can pass it a little bit.
Yeah, he can rebound, defend.
He's got some unselfishness to him that Carmelo does not have. So back to your point, there was a reason Kevin Durant left Russ behind. And yet I started rooting for Russ for the first time. Remember, this is his 10th year in the league.
Yes.
So he is set in his ways.
Yeah.
But last year, I rooted for him because I just wanted to see him just say, watch this, Kevin. And he did. And he won the MVP. And he averaged a triple-double. But I've always said about Russell, He's a little more interested in starring than winning. Well, now he's on the hot seat because now he has a chance to sacrifice his starring, his brand, a little bit of his brand, a little bit of his stats to incorporate two very good basketball players into this system. They're not a very deep team, but their star, to quote LeBron last year, ironically, they're top heavy as you know what.
They
but
top
in a
heavy.
Yeah, they are, but they're in a good way.
Yes.
So it has the elements to be a good team that could threaten Golden State a little. They have the star power if they could find a fit.
But what happens when they go to the bench?
Not much. That's the problem. But I do like their 5.
Yes.
And I really like their 3 if they can figure out. But just remember, Russell and Carmelo, they might be the 2 biggest ball hogs I've ever watched. Seriously. And that's going to happen. That's going to work out how? I don't think it will work out.
Are they getting the Steven Adams of 2 years ago or Steven Adams of last year?
I think he got his money.
But here's the thing that's going to be very interesting to see. Because, as you mentioned, Russell got as many shots as he wanted. He held the ball as long as he wanted. Will Russell be willing to pass up a good shot to get Melo or Paul George a great shot in the last 2 to 3 seconds of a ball game? Because you knew last year, if the game was close on the line, you know who's taking the last shot. So will Russell pass up a good shot or a contested shot to get Paul or Melo a better shot?
Yep.
Because it's going to be very interesting. Skip, how do you, look, for me, if I get the big piece of chicken, it's hard for me to go back. If I get the breast all the time, it's hard for me to go to the wings and drumsticks, Skip. Because here I average a triple-double. And now you're telling me maybe if I just average 23, 24, 8 assists and 4 or 5 rebounds, people going to like, man, what happened to Russ? Once you get to that level, Skip, you don't want to step down.
Okay, so what happened during the finals last year? Russell, I think he Instagrammed he was watching Sister Act 2, right? Was that what you wanted? What's that?
It's a good movie.
Good movie. I don't know. I didn't see that one, sorry. But is that what you want to do? Or do you want to have to watch or know that Kevin's out there doing that again? Or do you want to be Kevin? Do you want to do that?
No, I want to be Kevin, but I want to average a triple-double while I'm being Kevin.
I don't think you can.
We know that.
Mutually exclusive.
we know that. Skip, you can't shoot that many times. You can't be that ball dominant and have success. You can't, it's impossible because you've tried it. And Kevin Durant, I mean, I would have loved to see Kevin, but Kevin's like, I can't. He said, I'm tired of you guys telling me, at the end of my career, if I stay here, you're going to say I was a great scoring champ, I won some MVPs, but I ain't getting any titles.
I agree. In my life, I've never seen a player more hell-bent with a basketball in his hand than Russell Westbrook. He just sees rim, attacks rim, and he goes blind to what's around him.
Correct.
And a lot of times, he can make that work.
Yes.
But he does have, Steven Adams.
He won't win your championship like that.
He can't win a championship. But Steven Adams can't, 2 years ago, he was a force, man. He was a postseason force.
Right.
And Robertson can really lock down on the James Hardens of the world. So they have the pieces to make a run, but my gut tells me, and history would scream at you, it will not click like it should.
Well, maybe Steven Adams was, when I'm being the 3rd or 4th best player, it would work. When Kevin's gone, now I'm asked to be the 2nd best player. Maybe they were asking him to be something that he can't be. So now maybe going back to being the 4th or 5th best player, he could.
Better fit for him.
That'll be a nice role for him.
It's very interesting.
Am I watching? Yes.
Of course. Well, the 3 of them are used to being the guys. So just if you look at their usage rates alone, it's going to be interesting. You should watch Sister Act 2. You would like it.
Really?
Yes, I highly recommend it.
Just for you.
Day.
I'll do it. Really?
You
That the one? No, like Lauryn Hill in that one?
Yeah, of course, in the choir.
Yeah.
It's great.
She was cutting up. Which I wonder if she was late for those auditions. Man, Lauryn Hill.
Well, that was back in the day, though.
No, she's
Careful.
still. Skip.
Nicole's going to get jealous?
No, I ain't talking about no, Nicole, my boo. But I said that out loud, Joey?
Yeah,
you
very
said
loud.
You said
Skip, why you keep
There's a
doing that?
microphone right there. No mercy. Aaron Rodgers could miss the rest of the season after breaking his collarbone on Sunday. Former Packer and our good friend Greg Jennings told TMZ this week just how important Rodgers is to the Packers. Let's take a listen.
He means more to his team than any other player in this league.
Even Tom Brady with the Patriots?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, we've seen it. We've seen how successful the Patriots have been able to be when Tom has gone down. The Packers don't have that. They don't know what they have yet in Brett Hundley, and we're about to all find out.
Greg is here with us now. Greg.
You like that, Skip?
Oh, look at those scales.
You okay?
Are you okay?
I'm about not to be okay.
Better be ready.
He was seasoned this morning.
This man has already offended me once this show about Tom Brady, and now you have succeeded in doubling my offense.
Skip.
Yes, Joy.
Go ahead and respond to what Greg had to say.
What Greg Jennings said straight to the camera with authority and conviction.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
My friend Greg Jennings
With the
said
Fox
this
logo
straight.
in the background.
Yeah, I know, right? It was absurd. It was preposterous. It was insane. And in the end, it was just flat out so wrong. Because if I might go back to the fateful 2008 year when Matt Castle led the Patriots to 11-5, I remind you, Matt Castle was running an offense that was created and coached effectively by Tom Brady. He's the offensive coordinator in New England, and he taught Matt Castle up from his rookie year how to play quarterback in the National Football League. And by the way, Matt Castle was good enough. He went to Kansas City and made a Pro Bowl. So 11-5, which didn't quite make the playoffs, it's pretty predictable to me because Matt Castle's not bad. So then let's look at what happened last year without Tom Brady as he was suspended wrongly for the first 4 games. The first game, New England went to Arizona as a 9.5-point underdog against a team that was wildly overrated. And they beat that team because it finished below 500 for the year and missed the playoffs. I'm talking about the Arizona Cardinals. Then in game 2, back in Foxborough, Ryan Tannehill, you know him well, unfortunately, he handed New England 4 turnovers in that game, and they jumped ahead 31-10 and finally hung on to win 31-24. Then in game 3, Brock Osweiler went to Foxborough. Brock Osweiler and had a QBR of 24 in that game, 3 Houston turnovers, and somehow New England won again, which led Jacoby Brissett then to the 4th game, which was against Buffalo, and they lost 16-0 at home to the Buffalo Bills. I'm not impressed. Obviously, they were not the New England Patriots going to go on and win the Super Bowl with either one of those 2 quarterbacks who would play Garoppolo or Jacoby Brissett. And with Tom Brady back, he had, it's not even arguable to me, his best year ever, and he led New England to the Super Bowl championship without Rob Gronkowski for the last 8 games. That's impossible. He was throwing to Julian Edelman and Danny Amendola, and he won the Super Bowl with one of the greatest, because he has the other greatest, 4th quarters and then overtime in Super Bowl history. And you're telling me he's not important as Aaron Rodgers is? So I look at Green Bay this year. Who has the better defense? Green Bay does. You can say all you want about Green Bay. Come on. Oh, but come on. New England is historically bad. They are by far the worst in yards allowed in the National Football League. And you can't tell me Green Bay doesn't have better receivers now that you've added Martellus to Jordy to Devontae Adams to Randall Cobb. That's just better than anything Tom Brady's throwing to. Now, Aaron Rodgers, God bless him, not there anymore, but he had a better running game than Tom Brady's had for the first 5 or 6 games of the year because he discovered Aaron Jones and Ty Montgomery.
He had one game. Aaron Jones ran the ball well one game. Go ahead, Greg.
But is he not a stud? I think he's legit. So,
after one game.
So again, Tom Brady is the New England Patriots. Without Tom Brady, this year's Patriots would be the Browns. They would be the Browns. I'm sorry. And with Tom Brady, they're still, to me, the Super Bowl favorite. So how can you say that Aaron Rodgers is more valuable to Green Bay? You can because you were his teammate and because your heart's still in Green Bay, and I respect it.
You know I speak truth. Skip, you know I speak truth.
You speak the unobjective truth. It's okay.
I will criticize Aaron Rodgers, and I will praise Aaron Rodgers.
You have criticized him.
And in this instance, he is on top. He is the most important player to his team in this league, possibly that the league has ever seen. Let that marinate.
Well,
I let it
marinate all night. I saw your video.
You talked about
it's just
2008.
wrong.
You talked about 2008 when Brady got hurt, first game of the season against Kansas City Chiefs. in the first quarter, I believe.
He got hurt in the first quarter.
First quarter. They still went on to win that game. Still went on. Now, Tom Brady gets the win.
Yeah.
Tom Brady gets the win.
Okay.
The 1-0 start. Matt Castle finished that game. They ended up going 10-5 without Tom Brady. You say he was coaching from the sideline.
No, he wasn't.
It was his system. He designed it. He coached it.
Charlie White designed it.
And Matt Castle jumped in and made us we didn't forget Tom Brady, but it was like, wow, this team is still great. You want to know why? Because what Aaron Rodgers does not have the luxury of, Tom Brady does. Bill Belichick.
Bam, bam.
Bill Belichick,
Bam, bam.
You know it, and everybody in this world knows it.
He's been dynamic this year.
Okay,
he's been a genius at that defense.
No. With all that he's been able to work with, I agree. I believe that Aaron Rodgers has had better skill guys around him. But when you take Aaron Rodgers away from the Green Bay Packers, 2013, they started the season 6-3 with Aaron Rodgers. He goes down the first half against Chicago Bears, left collarbone.
Mm-hmm.
They finished the season 8-7-1. That one tie coming against the Minnesota Vikings. I was there with the Vikings against a Matt Flynn, Scott Tozine, Seneca Wallace-led Green Bay Packers who couldn't move the ball, who couldn't do anything, threw 8 TDs and 10 interceptions in Aaron Rodgers' absence.
With those same skill players.
With those same skill players.
And what happened when Seattle signed one Matt Flynn? Then what happened?
No. We're talking about.
I know, but then you can see how good he was when he went away, when he left.
He was.
Was he good?
He got cut.
Yeah.
He got cut. He was a big free agent signee of the Seattle Seahawks, and they said, wait a second, this kid's better.
Skip, you're making my point.
I'm not.
You're making my point. Matt, that's what I mean. That's why Aaron Rodgers is more important.
I know.
Because
I'm making my point about Matt Castle. He was a good player already.
Okay, I'll just jump straight to the chase. I'll cut straight to the chase. When you look at what they have now, last year, when Tom Brady missed those first 4 games, they started off 3-0, then went to 3-1, lost 16-0 against the Buffalo Bills. 4 touchdowns to 0 interceptions in Tom Brady's absence. They had a great showing with Garoppolo before he got hurt. Jacoby Brissett comes in, goes 1-1. You look at Aaron Rodgers in the Green Bay Packers, even right now, present day. Were they prepared for Aaron Rodgers to go down? Were they prepared for if Aaron Rodgers was to say, you know what, I'm done? Are they prepared? No, because he's the most important, most valuable piece in this league to that organization. You look at the New England Patriots, they're prepared. Even though Tom Brady is important, but we're prepared because we have Jimmy Garoppolo sitting right here waiting in the wings. Hold on, waiting in the wings. If Tom gets breathed upon the wrong way, you think they're gonna fall off? No, because they have Garoppolo. I'm not knocking who Tom Brady is and what he's done. I'm saying right now, Aaron Rodgers is far more important to his team than Tom Brady because they can't move forward. They're not even prepared to move forward without Aaron Rodgers. The New England Patriots
is that
are.
Ted Thompson isn't as good a GM as Bill Belichick. Isn't that what we're talking about? You're just telling me Ted Thompson's a lousy GM. Well, that's not the debate here. Because I'll buy that. He's not prepared. He drafted Brett Hundley. I don't know how good I didn't like him at UCLA, to be honest with you, because in the big Oregon games, he came up small to me.
But Skip,
that's just me.
But here's the thing. When you have these franchise quarterbacks, look at what Peyton Manning had behind him because you don't expect them to get hurt.
0-9.
You're not getting.
You don't expect them to. Yes, you do.
No, you don't.
Well, you have to.
So Tom Brady missed 1 season in 18. Peyton Manning had missed none. So you're not expecting, first of all.
It happens. It happened to Aaron Rodgers. It happened before.
The way it's constructed now, you're not going to get a Joe Montana, Steve Young situation where you have a Hall of Fame guy in waiting to replace a Hall of Famer. Skip.
Wait, Tom Brady was a 6th-round draft pick? Yeah, so why don't you go find another good mid-round quarterback? Yeah, you can. Yeah, Dak Prescott was in the 4th round.
Yeah. The Tom Brady,
go find him.
There are Tom Brady's and Shannon Sharpes and Terrell Davis, guys that's going in 6th, 7th rounds.
Yeah.
All the time they turn out to be Hall of Fame. They're on all these teams right now. Skip, you and I both know. First of all, you keep talking about how bad New England's defense is this year.
It is.
In 2011, Greg, were you there in 2011?
I was there in 2011.
Okay. Aaron Rodgers won the MVP. He threw 45 touchdowns, 6 INTs. You know where his defense ranks, Skip Bayless?
I don't.
32nd.
Thank you.
32nd. Now, can you tell the people at home how many teams are there in the NFL?
I don't know what your research.
32 teams.
I don't
Stop
know.
doing that. Skip, why you do me like this?
I don't have. You got Steve Owens. He's a Heisman winner. I mean, come on.
This is why, and I agree, Greg, that Aaron Rodgers is more important to his franchise than Tom Brady is to his. Because even if you say Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers is a statistical push, okay, we remove both of them from the equation. Who continues to win and who falls off by the wayside? There's a reason. Hold on.
This New England team, if you take Brady away, it's the Browns.
Let me ask you a question.
This is not a very good football team.
How about this here? Which player, Jimmy Garoppolo or Brett Hundley, would a team give up a first rounder for to take?
We haven't even seen Brett Hundley play in a.
I'm just asking you a question.
I want you to answer that question.
Because we know teams.
Okay, so now we're back to a different debate.
No.
Better GM, Bill Belichick or Ted Thompson? I'll have to go with Belichick because he found Jimmy Garoppolo in the second round?
No, you go with Bill Belichick because he found Tom Brady. Because if you look
I think Tom Brady found him.
Okay, but look at all the receivers that that flamed out in New England. Most of the receivers that they get come from somewhere else. Julian Edelman was an undrafted free agent.
No, he's seventh round.
Shannon, wait, it doesn't even matter. We can extend it further beyond just the team. We can go most important to their organization. It's Aaron Rodgers. Because of those reasons that you're mentioning right now. Because he makes the missed draft picks or the lack of interest in free agency that Ted Thompson doesn't have a taste for. He allows him to get away with that because of his great play consistently year in and year out. We have seen it.
Brady allows Belichick to just put any old cog over on defense, and they're always pretty good because Brady covers for them. He's got them at 4-2 this year, and they're the worst by far.
Skip.
And you know what? In leadership, this is the one area you have criticized your man Aaron Rodgers
Absolutely.
that he is not beloved in the locker room because he will deflect occasionally and point the occasional finger at certain receivers. Tom Brady points no fingers.
Yes,
Tom Brady is beloved. No, that's just instruction. That's what that is. Yeah. Hey, you don't think he's beloved in that locker room? He is the face of that franchise. You don't think the offensive line would run through the locker room wall for him? And I'm not sure they would for
Aaron
Rodgers.
Rodgers. But hold on. He gave him instructions. What are they putting together? A hobby horse?
Yeah.
I thought they knew this. Oh, you mean to tell me they don't know what they're supposed to do?
Hey.
You and I both know.
He's the coordinator.
It's a nice
He is.
try.
Josh McDaniels is the
Tom
quarterback.
Brady is a great quarterback.
He is.
He's a great quarterback.
Yeah, he's okay. So you're telling me, so
Aaron
in the end, you're telling me Aaron Rodgers.
You on his side?
Tom Brady's the greatest quarterback.
You're
of
telling
all
me that
time.
Aaron Rodgers is more valuable because Ted Thompson's not very good at finding a backup quarterback. That's what you're telling me.
No.
If that's even if that's what you want it to be, yes.
Well, is that all you got?
No,
That's all he needs.
That's all. Thank you.
No mercy. Ezekiel Elliott will be on the field for the Cowboys Sunday against the 49ers. Right now, Dallas trails the 5-1 Eagles for first place in the NFC East. Philly has a showdown with the Redskins coming up on Monday night, and we're obligated to mention the Giants, even though they're 1-5. We're joined by former NFL defensive coordinator Rob Ryan. Very well-dressed, Rob.
Thank you very much.
Salmon.
Trying to match everybody here on the set.
Salmon.
A little Solomon.
How do you think the NFC East will finish, Rob?
Well, I think Dallas will nip Philadelphia at the very end. And Washington, who's always has so much talent on both sides of the ball and all that, but they always are too inconsistent. So, look, Dallas is down 3 games right now to Philadelphia, and Philadelphia's got one of the best quarterbacks in football.
They got the Lonzo Ball of the NFL, right?
Oh, he can
Once
deal
a
it.
generation, Carson Wentz.
He might turn out to be the LeBron of football.
He might be the LeBron. Yep, go ahead.
Wentz on a lifetime. Wentz on a lifetime player.
Wentz in a lifetime, man, that's impressive. That he has been fantastic. The only thing is that defense. They always start so fast. If you ever watch Schwartz's defense, they start so fast every time, but then eventually teams run down their throats with the wide 9 alignment, and their secondary, who I love, Malcolm Jenkins, one of my favorite players I ever coached, super smart guy. I'm not sold with their cornerback play. I really not. And if you watch that kid, that played against him, the first, Cousins.
Yeah.
If they don't get that batted pass back in his face for a touchdown, which really an incompletion.
Yeah, it was a bad call.
That game could go either way. So, look, that's a lot of ground to make up. But I think Dallas is coming back healthy. They get Sean back, who makes a difference. I know it's one player, but he's a good one. The thing I just hate right now with Dallas is there's no turnovers. The thing we talked about, hey, they're going to get turnovers this year. This is Rod Marinelli. Yeah. But if you look at Rod Marinelli as a D coordinator, they don't get turnovers.
No.
I mean, which is crazy. They come from the Tampa system. They punch the ball out all the time in practice. They do all that stuff. But at the end of the day, you have to play tight coverage, and you have to be physical to get turnovers. And right now, they just aren't doing that. And that's the only thing, that I don't like besides, look, they've had a bye week. They've got Ben Bloom out there who's in charge of, getting things done out there, projects. Their red zone defense stinks. I mean, stinks. So, but, a lot of that is what they're playing. So they got to get that fixed. They're smart enough. Jason will make them change it. And once that gets done, I can see this team coming on because they're healthy. They get, if they could ever get Elliott out of the courtroom and on the field and let him play just football, this team can come back and then they can come back and win the thing.
Yeah. Rob, I love you, but I'm going to disagree with you.
All right.
I
appreciate that.
Because this is what we know.
Yeah.
Philly's defense might falter, but Dallas defense isn't coming on. Their defense is what it is. And you play that style of defense, the reason why it's not as productive as what they had in Tampa because they don't have a Warren Sapp.
Well, nobody does. There's been one Warren Sapp.
They don't have a Simeon Rice, and people overlook Simeon Rice. But he was a heck of a ball player, Rob. You know that.
Yeah, here's the great thing about Sapp. I don't want to interrupt you, but the great thing about Warren Sapp, every time whoever played the defensive end next to him led the league in sacks.
Yeah.
When I was in Oakland, Derek Burgess led the league in sacks. Who did he play next to? Warren Sapp. That's how good he was.
Yeah, you played the under tackle. Mm-hmm. So, Skip, that defense is not going to get better. And this is what we do know. Now, Philadelphia have that once-in-a-lifetime player who I believe will be the MVP, and that will be the
being silly.
Skip.
Silly.
I know it. Yeah. He better not win MVP. Yeah. That's all I'm telling you.
Are you predicting it?
If he wins MVP,
you're going to be insufferable.
I offered you a bet yesterday. 5 cases of Diet Mountain Dew. I'll take Brady. You can have Wentz.
I'm going to get that number 11. You see that with that C? I'm going to have that jersey. He's going to autograph it to me.
Is he?
Yeah, me.
So you're not taking my bet?
The Eagles will win this division.
He won't take my bet.
The Eagles will win this division.
Yeah.
Washington.
Well, you're going out on a limb. Since
Washington.
You got like a 4-game lead or whatever.
Washington will finish number 2. But I told you this. This is nothing new to you.
Tell me this. You picked the Giants.
Yes. No.
You picked the Giants.
I picked the Cowboys.
Well, those players don't show up to practice, so it's not going to be
I did pick the Cowboys to finish in 3rd, so I'm going to stick with that. They're going to stay in 3rd, and the Giants will bring up the rear. But I'm sorry.
So your pick is bringing up the rear, but you're still taking credit for that you told me so?
I told you the Cowboys wouldn't make the playoffs. I also told you Wentz.
You did not tell me that.
I didn't tell you Wentz was a better.
You didn't say Wentz in a lifetime.
Oh, he's from Pennsylvania. They keep naming all these cities and states after him. Skip, you know this and I know this. The guy's playing unbelievable. I know you like Dak, but Dak had his time last year. Now it's Wentz.
It's over. Flash in the pan.
No.
One hit wonder. It's over.
I did not say that.
You know what? He should just quit.
What
retire. You had your one moment in the sun. It's over.
You're going to have to deal with him. At least Kirk Cousins is going to be gone. Yeah. But you got to deal with this guy for the next 12 years.
I do.
And it ain't going to be easy.
And every time you say his name, I wince. I am with Coach. Finally, we have some real wisdom from a man who's been there and done that.
Oh, yeah.
And I am with you. I feel like the NFC East hasn't really started yet. It starts with the Cowboy bye week. They get healthy. Sean Lee is, what would you call it? He's freaky, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And he is, I hope he's going to be, I assume he's going to be back. That's what they say. But I think he tore his hamstring.
Look, you know Sean Lee's living in that training room. I mean, guarantee there's no way he doesn't play.
So my quarterback, who is the best quarterback in the division, is playing at an even higher level than he played last year. And yet, this defense, coached by Rod Marinelli, and I gave him all his props last
did
year.
too.
They finished last year 5th in the league in points allowed. They are currently 29th in points allowed, and that's the story. That's why you are 2-3.
About to be
3 losses
Right.
because of this. And I have advocated, I've campaigned for it. Go sign some veteran. Revis is still sitting out there. We had Antonio Cromartie on. Nope. They're stubbornly proud because they believe in their coordinator. They believe in his system. And as you know, you can put cogs in that system, but some of the cogs have to be able to be decent, play a little bit.
Right.
And I'm sure Barry Church is laughing somewhere in Jacksonville
Wilcox.
and Mo Claiborne, and I'm sure
Carr.
they're all, their
forget
car,
Carr.
used car,
Playing
I'm
well
sure
in
they're all
Baltimore.
chuckling, saying, we told you so. But they want to go young, and you have an offense that is, it's Super Bowl quality. It has that much star and firepower to it. But the defense is so young, they're just not making plays, especially when it counts, which is in the red zone. They can't keep anybody out. So can you fix it in a bye week?
I know you can because, look, you have to. I don't like the coverages they play. They're inconsistent, but, let's get to, a more sound coverage, and that'll help them. I think having the big Irving kid back helps them a ton.
As you said, one of the biggest human beings
Oh,
you've ever
my
seen,
God. And
David
now
Irving.
you have an unbelievable pass rush, which they are doing well. That young corner's playing really good. The kid you liked,
Lewis.
Jordan Lewis. So he's a fine player. But I like the 2 you mentioned, Revis and Cromartie. Go get one of them and help you
just
out.
some veteran
presence,
presence,
because that could really help them. But look, let's put the gun on. Let's put the pressure on Marinelli. Get this thing going because I know the offense can get rolling. I know this defense is healthy. They need to start, winning games here and put everything behind them, and they can get in the race. Look, they've come down to making who makes that playoff game. The last game of the year, two games in a row. It could come down to Philadelphia last week of the season.
The last week of the season.
It could.
You still trust him?
Look, that
Schwartz is wide nine.
defense
You
is
like the
get
wide
rolling,
nine?
baby.
I know
He
about-
rolls
Gashed?
until the end of the year.
First of all, I know
Until the
about
end of the
Schwartz.
year.
I played about him. I played against his defenses when he was at Tennessee.
Okay.
So I know about the wide nine.
Wide nine.
But
lots of
that
lots
Tampa-
of alleys.
hold on. Did you see Todd Gurley just run wild on y'all? Jones just got 100 yards. C.J. Anderson just got 100 yards. So let me guess. You can't stop the pass. You can't stop the run. You can't get to the quarterback. and
No
you can't
Sean
cover it.
Lee, no David Irving. Both are back.
David Irvin was there against Green Bay when Aaron Rodgers threw for how many yards? Like 340?
And the kid ran for 130. But let's put in a linebacker who actually can identify a back's depth and know exactly what run he's audible into, and tell your team here it comes.
Who's going to cover these receivers?
Those kids.
Okay.
You know who they are?
Yeah, I know.
Awuzie.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, well, that's what they're going
What about
with.
you?
Somebody's
Like Brown.
gotta
You
come
like
through.
Brown, and you like
I
Heath.
like Anthony Brown, and I like Orlando Scandrick. They're good enough if they can figure out a new way to attack. And I think with the bye week, it came right on schedule. They have a game that they should win against a dangerous
C.J.
team.
Beathard, I like him. I like him a lot.
Now he's your big
Yeah,
guy, right?
I like
Well,
C.J.
he looked
Beathard.
good. He tore up that Redskins
He about to tear up
defense in the second
he about
half.
to tear up the Cowboys too.
Okay.
About to tear them up.
You already put a quesadilla on it, I believe.
I'm gonna sleep on it.
Sleep
I'm
on
gonna
it?
sleep on
I
it.
think you're welching and
I'm gonna
rescinding this
sleep on
bet.
it. I'm gonna sleep on it.
Well, you have until
I'll
tomorrow.
I'll make sure CJ no setbacks.
I say this is where it starts.
What?
I think so, too.
Oh, that 3-game look.
How about Secretary? Did you ever see Secretary? Here he comes.
Yeah. Oh, Big Red.
Here he
That
comes.
Chestnut Bake. Oh,
They're
yeah.
2-3. Look out.
No.
They're coming after.
Big Red wasn't ever 2-3. Big Red.
It does feel like a dangerous
he
game
wasn't.
for an 0-5
That's a good
team.
point.
What's that?
It feels like a dangerous game for an 0-5 team.
Well, it does because
They've
they
lost
played
all
those
their games by
with-
less than 3.
Yeah, the Giants. Remember the Giants? Got the Broncos. Oh yeah, I'm feeling good about this.
Yeah.
Skip, I'm feeling really
I
good.
told you the Broncos played their Super Bowl against Dallas, and then what
Oh
happened?
my goodness, y'all not the Super Bowl. Skip, stop saying
Everybody
that.
plays them like
No,
they're
they
America's
don't.
Team. They're back.
No,
they won 11 games in a row
No, they just
last
look at you on the schedule like, okay, that's a win.
No mercy.
Thanks for listening to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm Joy Taylor. We're back at the same time tomorrow morning, 9:30 Eastern. We'll see you then.
Fox Sports 1 of 1.